Welcome to Winning the Game of Life. Known as Jungleman at the poker table, Dan Cates has gone from being the bag boy at McDonald's with no friends and a dead-end future to winning over $11 million in online poker, over $7 million in live tournaments, and is a World Series of Poker champion. He has found fame, fortune, been to incredible places all over the globe, and connected with some amazing people. It looks like Dan has won the game of life, but that is not the way he sees it. Dan sees winning as doing his part to help everyone in the world win. He knows he can't do it alone, though. He knows it's going to take a collective effort with anyone that wants to see the same thing. Join us each week as Dan starts the conversation to do just that. On the show, Dan will interview incredible individuals that have made the impossible possible. Those that have won the game of life, and those that want to help others win as well. Hit subscribe and follow Dan's journey on Instagram at @TheDanCates. Let's explore anyone and anything that can help make this world a better place, increasing the odds of us all winning the game of life. And now, here's your host, Dan Cates.
All right, guys, we're back on the podcast, and we've got one of the biggest winners of all time, Patrik Antonius. Apparently, the biggest winner on the tracked online sites. I didn't know this until I looked into it, and also founder of First Land of Poker, Flop, ambassador as well, and pretty damn good tennis player, and possibly someone who's has potential for a modeling career if you really wanted Patrik Antonius.
Nice introduction, yeah. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and poker ended up being my thing eventually, which is good.
What do you mean eventually? Oh,
eventually, after all the things that I did, I started to work at a very young age, and I wanted to play professional tennis, and was a little bit working as a model to get some money and whatever, hustling.
I didn't know you were actually a model. That's
finally the poker came to generate proper revenue to give me all the options in my life to travel and meet a lot of people and create this amazing life.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about poker is that you don't have to be like the top, 100 in the world you have to be pretty damn good, but there's a lot of room to have a lot of freedom and do kind of all sorts of things you want to do. It's not quite as top heavy as a lot of other industries.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't probably understand how many people play poker in the world. There's over 100 million people playing poker. Sounds like a really, really high number, right? So
what the hell?
And poker is played against other players. So there's going to be a lot of winning players, a lot of professional players. There's just a lot of players all over the world, just having a life they enjoy. They're making whatever it is that you pay your bills and whatever are your goals. But yeah, we're talking about very popular game here that it's, I think, being underrepresented overall to people.
Yeah, I had no idea myself that there's 100 million people playing. What's your story and how you got started playing poker? How exactly did you find out about it and transition from tennis or whatever you're doing at the time?
Yeah, it's a long story, obviously, but I'll try to keep it really simple and brief. So my first experiences playing card games for money was with my friends when I was 10, 11, something like winning $1 a day or so on. And then things picked up more when I was 14, 15 at the tennis club. We were practicing a lot of days, twice a day. And between the practices, we were playing cards for money. It's not the poker that we know nowadays, but similar, card games for betting and bluffing and so on. It's more like this 5-card stats what we were playing. And so we enjoyed it. We played it after practices also and got together in some weekends when we didn't have team matches, league matches, tournaments to play. But there's been always like breaks. And then eventually, I was living close to Casino Helsinki, which is the only casino that they have a poker room. And I went there when I was 18. But I was 19 when I played first time poker there, and I won my first tournament. It was a small tournament, but some, 40, 50 players and 20, it was Finnish mark. So it was like a €20 buy-in, $20 buy-in. And I got, I don't know what I got, $300 about.
Only three.
But that really, that was a big inspiration. And I was being like, I don't know, I was welcomed very well. Like the dealers, one dealer was telling me that never seen you here. You should really look into poker. And nobody needed to motivate me. Actually, I had a massive motivation deep inside of me. I just loved to play always. I've always loved to play. And I still remember those days when we played private games with my friends when I was underage, like 17 or 18. And it was one of the most nicest time I've had then, when I didn't even know that anyone can play poker professionally then. But, watching some sports and hanging out and having some beers and, teenager life.
Those were the good old
But pretty much after I won the tournament, I still went to I went to a military, and pretty much 1 year later, 1.5 years later, I started to play professionally. Make
like what, like 2 years after, something like that?
It was you know what? It's crazy. It was 1999 when I put $200 online first time on this site, 24-hour poker. And I had 2 months later, I had 30,000 or 28,000.
Wow.
And then I never looked back. Like I was fully into it and fully motivated. I still went to play college tennis for 1 semester in USA, but I knew that it was just a life experience for me that, I was already had over 100,000 bankroll then, and went straight to Vegas then. And things moved fast those days. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you ended up, I don't know if you're still living there, but you were living in Monaco. Remember, things must have gone pretty well, I imagine.
Yeah, I've been in Monaco since 2007. I'm actually at our office right now. First land of poker, are the next massive thing for poker. This is our office. I'm just here in a rainy Monaco. It's a rainy cold day today. But I've been here for a long time. I was actually kind of forced to move out of Finland a long time ago when I started to win money, because poker was so new those days that they didn't have a system for taxes, and they were going to take all my money literally. So I had to I was forced to move out then. And then I end up here. And I've been here.
Are you in Costa Rica or where exactly?
No, in Monaco.
Oh.
Monte Carlo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Monaco. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an amazing place, actually. It's one of those places, I think, that's like most of the places that people, when they come to see it and visit as a tourist, they get a maybe a little bit different picture than what it is really to live here and so on.
Well,
like, for example, I haven't been in the casino here for 10 years, I think. Like, people always go to see the casino and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really been to the casino myself. So what is it actually like to live there that people don't see when they're the tourists? What is
it? Yeah, the tourists see all the casino, Hotel de Paris, Café de Paris, all these fancy hotels, restaurants, fancy cars. There's just a lot of fancy, expensive cars. But there's actually really nice, like, international community here of smart, successful people, a lot of kids. Weather is very good. They have the best international school in whole Europe, based on whatever their rankings or something. And it's a very safe place. It's one of those places that if you're young, or anyone, you don't have to worry about security. There's kind of friendly police and cameras everywhere, and you can, if you have children, you can relax, and they can be outside doing things at pretty young age here. And but for me, it offers all kind of possibilities of nice living life, like playing tennis outdoors all around the year, nice golf courses. If you want to go to ski, it's just 1.5, 2 hours away, nice skiing here. There's nice mountains. I go to run quite often to the mountains or hike. It's just beautiful nature, and you can get really good food here. The quality of food is really, really amazing. I have everything organic and just very clean.
Sounds a little bit like paradise.
Well, I'm selling Monaco here, but it's for me it's a really nice fit. I like to travel, but it's as a base. This is how I would always picture my base, as a place where I just have a nice, healthy life. That's what I need on the balance of all this, a lot of traveling and playing around the clock high stakes poker.
Well, it must have been a bit of a long road to get there. I imagine many aspiring poker players like dream of living this kind of lifestyle that you live. I imagine you must have had a lot of ups and downs in your career, or like some crazy stories. Like I remember actually you won the biggest pot on the internet also. How much was it for?
Yeah, I have the largest pot in online history. It was 2009, so a long time ago. It was 1.3 million and something extra, something like, I don't know how much extra, but a little bit over 1.3 million. Yeah, the gains were very big that year, and there's a lot of pots over 500,000 played that year. It was against the guy you have battled a lot also, Victor Blum. Isildur. Yeah. So we'll see if that's gonna get broken. Not with the current games. There's no stacks won't get big enough with the current games there is.
Well, that's what I thought too. As of recently, there was a certain person trying to play 30K limit against me. I guess anyway, it's strange. He didn't want to play 16K, but he wanted to play 30K. But there's been some, they're very niche games. I imagine you played some really massive games, maybe bigger than this online game, haven't you? Or at least ones of similar quality in real life.
I've been in some big games. Once in a while they happen, like they don't seem to last for too long, obviously, because they're so big. But I hardly remember. I have played 10,000, 20,000. But have I played? I have to even think of it. 20,000, 40,000. You were probably in the game. So you could remember a couple years ago in Vegas. What did we play? It was at least 10,000, 20,000.
It was 10,000, 20,000. Talal was there, Schuteller, Opie, and these games though.
Yeah, that was a big game. But there's been some deep stack PLO sometimes with 2,000, 4,000, 8,000 blinds. That's pretty big game. But
it's bigger than 10, 20.
Yeah, that's bigger than 10-20. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how big games happen happen in poker.
Well, what are you doing these days? What motivates you these days? Are you still motivated to play poker? It seems like it seems. I know you've expanded to flop. Maybe like what is that about?
Yeah. I basically have two things going on. It's poker is always going on, but sometimes less, sometimes more, depending exactly like the current situation in the world, how much can you travel and play. But first land of poker, we're going to have a big year, hopefully. But we need the world to stay open because we're going to do lots of interesting events all over the world. So basically, we are a platform and we have multiple products, but our goal is to connect all the poker players and help them to get to right games based on their game preferences, what they want to play and where. So we are helping this thing, which is one of the most complicated things as a poker player, to find the right cash games for you where you are or where you want to go. And also with the poker rooms, we have very intelligent tool to help them, to help the players to create these games and make these games happen. So this is our goal. It's everything is for the players. Everything is just to help poker community to grow, to become a better game, easier access, more players will play. There's just a lot of players that they just find it too much time consuming and too much effort when they want to play to get to the games. It's a lot of hustle if you have to drive 1 hour sometimes to the casino, and then you wait there and see if there's players who want to play or there's full game or no game and you have bad experiences. So we want to solve all these things that it won't happen, that all this communication becomes easy. And
I can see use cases for it.
So this is kind of our goal, but we have a lot of things. We have built also a GTO tool, e-learning tool, where anyone can go and improve their fundamentals of poker. You are aware of these tools for sure. So it's, you get the kind of game theory optimal solutions on every situation, and especially pre-flop is very important that you will know, and you will also see that what value does every hand have in every situation pre-flop, which is very important. To me, it's even more important than understanding the range, because some hands are so marginal that the program says that you should raise this hand, but you gotta adjust based on the game you are playing and the situation. And sometimes you can raise hands that are out of the range if the game allows you to play those. But it's a very, very good tool that you can see how much you would win averagely with this hand, how many big blinds, or what is the real value. So we have this. If you haven't looked into it, it's flop GTO. So you just Google flop GTO and it will take you to where you need to go, and you can test it for free.
I didn't expect you to be the kind of guy who would be talking about game theory so much. I always imagined you were like more of like a live reads kind of guy and soul reading and stuff. Well, that's what I am. That's what I am. You're right, a soul reader. But of course, I understand that you have to have good fundamentals in poker. I mean, this is just a basic thing that everyone must understand. And if you play if you play 10 years of poker, or you play hundreds of thousands, millions of hands, you're gonna
you're gonna have it figured out pretty close. I think what are the pre-flop hand raises on those situations, but it's a really good way to learn, especially as a beginner, mediocre player, and advanced players are they know their stuff, what they have to work on, and but it's still very beneficial for anyone. I mean, I got a lot of benefits from this tool when I played this 25K heads up WPT 25K heads up championship last summer.
Really?
Because I'm not used to playing no limit hold'em heads up with shallow and short stacks. And once you play these tournaments, the stacks are gonna get shallow and short when blinds go higher and higher, or one of the players are gonna be shorter. And I didn't really know how to play with 15, 20, 10 big blinds heads up no limit hold'em or 25. I had to go to this tool and start looking at the ranges, what I'm supposed to 3-bet all in, or what am I supposed to play. And so I was using it a lot before the tournament, and I had a lot of situations came up that I was going fully on the GTO principle there. And I came second. I beat 4 good players, so it worked.
The guy who made it uses it, and you got second.
Yeah,
you got second overall. But did you?
Yeah,
you used it when you got heads up, or did you use it before that?
I just started to use it before the tournament because
all right.
Because it's for heads up. We have all kind of tools. We have 6-handed, 9-handed, 8-handed. We have heads up. We have cash games, tournaments for anything. But like if you go to my leagues, my least like good skills in poker, it's not. It's all about this kind of short and shallow stacks, playing with 20 big blinds, 15, 10. This is because it becomes very mathematical. There's not so much what you can read about your opponent, and you know how it is. And this is something that I never worked on my game previously too much. And
not really.
So if I want to play these, high roller tournaments, I need to still improve on all these 30 big blinds and less playing.
Deep stacks is where it's at. That's where all the bluffing and the reading your opponents and the soul reads and bravado and you name it happens. Need more of that stuff.
Yeah, that's another world. That's our world.
Like plus like 0.1 BB per hand because you shoved the just perfect right combo and didn't shove the king 6 offsuit on the hijack or whatever. I don't know. I'm not really savvy with that stuff. I've got a couple more questions about flop, but I just remembered actually one really big hand you played. If you remembered I think it was the Aussie Millions, I remember in a limped pot, do you remember this hand against Doug Polk when he raised all in with 2 pair or something like this?
Yes.
I forget what happened in this hand, but I remember this was like, I don't know if this was a soul read hand or not. How well do you remember this hand? It was like
I remember
okay or something.
I do remember it very well. It was a very big pot. I think it was like 600K pot, or at least it was he made a massive check raise on the river. Yeah, it's funny how these kind of hands, there's a lot of many times there's something more into it. And I wasn't in the best place with that hand, how it happened, because I was losing on some side bets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just lost a couple 100,000 on side bets just in the last 10-15 minutes. I was a bit rattled.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking so clearly, but I remember how the hand went, how it duck poke limp from the small blind. I just checked and the flop came something
I know you had
I flopped the straight. It was 7-6-4 or something. I had 5-8, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. And I don't remember the flop or turn action actually, but I remember the
The board paired. I know that. I think he had 6-7.
Yes, the board paired on the river, and I made on the river. I made kind of an oversized bet. I think I bet 70K to 50K pot or something like that, and the one card, I don't know what game, I forgot. But, it's easy to say afterwards. It's easy when I was right that, yes, I got a read from him, right? Mm-hmm. But the only reason I called was because of the read, that he was extremely nervous for some reason. But I didn't know that, that there's some players that they get when they have the best hand. So I didn't really know what was going on with Doug. I just saw that he was uncomfortable, but it doesn't always mean that, you're bluffing. So it's not the easiest thing to always analyze what's your read. But that was eventually I knew that I knew that I had only a bluff catcher. Suddenly my straight on the river looked like it's just only going to beat the bluff that there's a full house against or nothing. And also it helped that I knew that from previous history, like I knew that Duck is the guy that's, he has balls to make these kind of plays, and he will do it if the time is right with the right blockers and so on. So
that is definitely,
this helps because there's not too many players that will check raise 300,000 on the river as a bluff, or 250, whatever it was.
Very true. Yeah, it takes quite some. I mean, especially for that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was like that big of an overbet. It'd be really hard to call.
That's actually one of the most important skills. What you learn as a high stakes poker player or a poker player. Mm-hmm. I don't know if everyone learns this, but this is one of the most important skills, is that you will learn with your human interaction between other players, that what are they capable of doing. And it's very important to know the limits, how far is certain player willing to go regarding like playing comfortable or not. And there's just a lot of players that they won't be able to pull that like 100,000 check raise bluff on the river, just because it's just they're too uncomfortable. They're afraid that they're gonna get, opponent's gonna read them and they get too nervous or so on. But there's a lot of different strategies, how you build your game, how you approach the game, how you're gonna play it. Mm-hmm. And everybody is playing differently. Everybody has their tendencies, their, what they're more likely to do or less. But it's really important to know that what are their kind of abilities, and it's, I don't know, it's you know what I'm talking about, that this is gonna make a massive difference with playing hands against your opponents. You just know that you got to know
your foe. Is that how you say it? Or that's how I'd say it, actually. You got to
know your
know what your foe can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. It's also interesting how different personalities can play so differently in poker. Like you can be a very conservative person, but then you can play poker like a maniac. Or it can be other way around. You can be a crazy person doing all kind of wild stuff, and then you play poker like most conservative player, and it's interesting how players have to do.
Do you find that a lot of people are like that, in that they play in different ways that their personality actually is?
There's quite a few.
But do you think it's the norm, or do you think it's not in the middle, or do you think it's against the norm?
It's not the norm, but I see it a lot on high stakes players that, wow, but you get a lot of this kind of actually, like, you get a lot of information on the poker table based on just a small body language or facial expressions regarding anything, like how person is thinking. I think there's multiple different levels of thinking in poker, and eventually it can become very psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about that, but it's not the norm, but you see it happening sometimes, and it's kind of funny. To me, it's funny.
I have a theory. I think that most beginning players will show their character pretty often when they play poker, but the high stakes players will differ. The more experience they have, they'll start to differ. But I'm not 100% sure on that. I just think that people are more likely to change themselves with more effort and that sort of thing. But I'll let you confirm or deny that. I don't really know, to be honest. I've also noticed a lot of very rich people tend to play a little wilder and more creative than people who are just starting, you could say.
Yeah. Well, there's all kind of players. There's all kind of, you're gonna see it. You're gonna experience it all. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to part 1 of this conversation. Don't miss part 2 tomorrow. Of course, hit subscribe and follow Dan on Instagram @TheDanCates.